He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the show that blares neon all over the damn place 1 minute at a time. I am your host, one of your hosts, John Parker. And look, I forgot my suit, all right?
Oh, I was about to do I forgot my suit joke as well. Oh, damn it. You stole my thunder, John.
Oh, like I do every single episode now.
But yes, I am hopefully recognizable without my suit. And this is Niall McGowan.
Is it like a birthday suit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, weird. That's weird.
And that
Well,
voice
the suit
you hear,
someone bought me for my birthday. Like, why do people always act weird when I say it's my birthday suit?
Yeah, they tell you not to turn up to parties in your birthday suit. I'm like, why? What's wrong with that? You're weirdos, all of you. You're all strange. But that other voice you could hear, you may recognize from previous episodes in previous seasons. We are joined, once again, by our very special guest. We have vocal coach Beth Roars.
Hey!
Oh.
I've got a confession to make.
Oh.
I have not watched this movie in its entirety, so I literally only know this 1 minute.
Oh,
That's
okay?
amazing, though. We like that. That's good.
Yeah. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I find it a little confusing, but I think I've kind of vaguely worked it out.
Oh, no, that's more fun. That's more fun. Because a lot of people we have on, they'll either really like it or really hate it. But they have a strong connection to it in some way. So this is going to be refreshing.
Oh, well, before we even get into it then, Beth, as someone who's not seen the rest of the movie, what do you think is happening in this minute?
Well, at first, I got really confused because I thought it was Batman. And then I was like, why is Batman, like, so young and then I realized it was Robin. So then I was like, for the whole way I was like writing, like I wrote some little notes about things to talk about, and I was like, I don't understand why he's acting like this. This is so different than The Dark Knight. Like, what has happened? And then I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I don't really know. I guess I don't know who this girl is. Did she get kidnapped? Who is she? I like how everything's very fluorescent.
Oh,
that's very cool.
Yeah, you're kind of coming in at the opposite end from the previous appearance we had with you, Beth, because you very gamely stepped up to cover an end credit minute. And now you've kind of been like thrown in the deep end into like an intensely colorful, bizarre minute that you also now additionally have no idea what's going on during.
That's perfect then.
It is perfect. But that fluorescent background, it completely reminds me of mini golf. So that's what I first thought of.
I was going to bring that up because we've got a mini golf thing here called Ghetto Golf. Here in Liverpool, which is it's like it all looks like this, a lot of the rooms, and it's basically it's for adults to just get drunk. They do cocktails and stuff while you're playing golf, and like the holes will be you'll be playing around a toilet, all kinds of weird stuff like that. And it's fun, but lots of the rooms look like this as well, with the same lighting and things.
Yeah, so far I've worked out that Robin is in the Batmobile and then he's in the mini golf. So that is with some guys who sound very kind of like Batman, actually. Like the Scary Skull Man. When I thought it was Batman, I was like, why does Batman not sound like Batman and the Skull Man sounds like Batman? This is so confusing.
Oh, I have my own question about that, which we will get to.
Would you be shocked to learn that the girl getting kidnapped, Beth, that's Batman?
Yeah.
That is actually Batman in disguise.
I would be shocked if that was Batman, yeah.
They took a different approach with this movie. Very, very different.
Yeah.
But this is minute 67, and the minute starts with some dick mocking, and it ends with a karate showdown.
Well, we've done so much dick mocking throughout this entire show so far.
Yes, we are back with the ladies making a mockery of poor Dick here. They don't think this is Batman, it's Batboy. But what do they think is actually going on here? Like, do they think that Dick works with Batman? Do they think he's a cosplayer? A rich kid trying to show off? Like, what's the deal? What do they think's happening? Why is he in the car?
That's a good question, actually. Like, what would your reaction be if you were confronted with someone in the genuine Batmobile who is very clearly not Batman?
Yeah, because they do seem very like... they're just quite annoyed by it, aren't they? I would be quite like, how did you get the Bat car? Like, this is really cool. Did you steal this from Batman? Because that kind of makes you cool.
Yeah, either you would think, oh, that's badass, you've stolen the Batmobile, or, you know Batman, can you introduce me?
Well, they might also be like, well, to be fair, the Penguin stole the Batmobile in the last movie, so getting your hands on this thing just seems to be like a piece of piss, basically. Like, now it's just more like, oh, you stole the Batmobile. Oh, it's like some kid. Ugh, you know.
Now I want a scene in the previous movie where Penguin steals the Batmobile and just pulls up to some ladies and they're all over him. They're like, oh, Oswald.
Like, you lousy minx. Although now I have to ask Beth two questions that have followed us throughout this season. Now, I guess we'll be getting your uncut reaction. What do you think of this Batmobile? Like, as a person who has seen other Batmobiles in your life, cause I really love this thing, but I'm finding I'm in the vast minority, apparently.
You know what my favorite thing about it is? That it takes so long to power down in that clip. He drives in and then turns it off and it's still like, vroom, for ages. I was like, why does it take that long?
Because it's so powerful.
Yeah. I kind of like it. I actually don't, I think it's like, it's kind of round edged. You know what I mean? It feels quite a soft Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Whereas normally they're more like spiky and aggressive, but I feel like this clip of the movie seems a little bit less aggressive in some ways.
It definitely has been.
So it kind of works.
It's been neutered, or like I guess because it's quite a phallic Batmobile. It's been circumcised in this case because all the threat's been taken out by the fact that it's been driven around by like a little like a teenager. Or someone who's supposed to be a teenager anyway.
Or is it also the director, Joel Schumacher, being a gay man? Is he tackling toxic masculinity by softening the Batmobile?
Well, could be.
By adding an extra element to it. Getting rid of the machismo.
Maybe. Although, I don't know, is Robin being a little toxic by turning up in the Batmobile and being all like, ooh?
Oh,
I think he's trying to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that quite works.
Well, I will say, I don't think this scene was scripted. I'll get into the reasons why, like in a little minute, but because it's not in the script. That's why I know it wasn't scripted. But it's when they said like, oh, that's not Batman, and he goes, "What are you talking about?" And then his audio cuts out very abruptly. And it's very apparent that they edited something out there. So he either said something, he probably used, because it was been semi-improved, he used an offensive term at that moment, which would lean into him being, it would lean into elements of toxic masculinity in that regard. And then maybe in the editing, they're like, nah, it's a PG movie. We can't have him calling these ladies the B word or something, like, because
oh god, oh no.
And then, but it is very apparent that like you never know, maybe it was just like the scene went on and they're just like, that's the only way we can cut it. But when he says like, what are you talking about, it cuts so abruptly that it's like, no, there's clearly something else he said that they've scooped out there. So
yeah.
But one thing, and the reason I feel, I know that because it's not in the script, that this wasn't a scripted scene. But the reason I feel they added it in is because of who these ladies are. They're within the context of the movie, I guess we're taking them to be, ladies of the evening and whatnot. The actresses who play them, well, they're not really actresses. Are you two familiar with a group from the 90s called En Vogue?
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this all four of them?
This is all four of En Vogue. This is Terry Ellis, Maxine Jones, Dawn Robinson, and Cindy Heron. So that's them.
And
Why are they there?
Well, that's the thing. Because the weird thing is, okay, like, oh, so In Vogue has shown up. Joel Schumacher has no previous history with In Vogue. I thought, like, maybe he's directed a music video of theirs or something. No, there's no connection. I'm thinking maybe they were just around, and he's like, "Do you want to be in my Batman movie?" And they were like, "Sure." And what's made even weirder is the fact that the song playing in the background is not an In Vogue song. It's Brandy.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, someone else will own the rights to the actual music. The pop group ain't owning the rights to the music.
Yeah, but you thought like it would have been, well, would have them there, that you would put on their song as a nod. But at the same time, though, they might be like, that's a little too 60s Batman, where, like, you know, later on Batman would come across and, you know, when he was walking, him and Robin would be climbing the side of the building and someone like friggin', I don't know, Walter Matthau would pop his head out and talk to them or something. Like, they're afraid it'll come off as a scene where it's like, In Vogue or like, "Hey, Batman, like, we're just warming up. Why don't you come and practice with us?" And he'd be like, "Sorry, ladies, you know, the only lady of the night I have any commitments to is Lady Justice," or, you know, something, one of those old cheesy 60s show kind of things. But so then they're like, "No, we'll get in the Brandy's June instead."
I love every one of their hairdos.
Yes.
Yes.
All amazing, especially. I don't know who's who, especially the one with the pink, like straighter long hair, and it's got like bits of pink through it. It's probably extensions, but it's amazing.
Yeah, and they have those little ribbony things that poke out the top as well.
Yeah.
I like those. I wish people had hairdos like that all the time, actually.
It's quite 90s, isn't it? Because think of Coolio.
I miss the 90s. I wish the 90s were like now. I loved the 90s. I mean, I was a child in the 90s, but I loved them.
Yeah. Well, it's now hip and cool and retro to be into the 90s.
No.
I know. That's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, it makes me feel really old. Why is my childhood retro?
Well, here's a question, though. As a child of the 90s, Beth, we had, obviously, this minute features quite heavily one Chris O'Donnell, who I'm informed was quite the dreamboat back in the 90s. Were you ever a Chris O'Donnell fan? Did you find him hot to trot or hot to not?
Honestly, I had no idea who he was. Yeah. So, no, who was I into? You know what? Peter Andre, which is really embarrassing. I had a Peter Andre cassette tape that I loved, and I was part of the Peter Andre fan club. And then, he got a different reputation as time went on.
No, but don't worry. My sister was really into Peter Andre and went to meet him at an HMV and was loving it for weeks because he gave her a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I would have been like, I'm not washing my cheek.
I think I grew to like Peter Andre in the later years when he was just like cheesy celebrity for hire. Because he just seemed like such a kind of like cheesy, kind of gormless guy. I was like,
he's just having fun, isn't he?
Like on all those ads for Iceland he did.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I like Peter Andre, the fact that he's now the spokesperson for Iceland. Like,
Yeah, he seems harmless.
this multi-millionaire coming out and telling you can buy like prawns for £2.50 and stuff.
But Beth, you can see why in the 90s he was like a heartthrob hottie, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay, because Niall didn't understand, and I'm like, no. Everyone fancied Robin in this movie.
No, I get it. He kind of, he looks like a lot of people who are 90s. You know how, like, celebrities, there's, like, a celebrity look at a time. Like, loads of people look like Katy Perry at the moment. I think. And then, I feel like he's very, very 90s in the style of actor that they've chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I can imagine him with, like, the curtains hair. I think that's what I see in my mind.
Well, apparently he was neck and neck with Leonardo DiCaprio in the 90s for this part. And DiCaprio would have brought the curtains, but...
Yeah, and they look very similar.
Yeah.
They have got a similar vibe. I'd never considered it until I found out that fact that you said, Niall. And then the more I look at them, I'm like, I could see them trading roles. Maybe not in like The Revenant, but yeah.
But I do wonder as well, though. For one thing, when she's like one of the ladies says, oh, that's Batboy. which is supposed to be like, oh, he ain't no man. This is a child, basically, that they've come across, even though it's blatantly like a 35-year-old man driving this car.
Yeah. It really is.
I also kind of wonder, well, for one thing, Dick Grayson kind of takes this in stride, because like later on in the movie, when he's suggesting his own, name, his own sidekick names to Bruce Wayne, he's like, what should I be called? Batboy, Nightwing? So it's like, oh, he took Batboy. It's like, oh, that's a good name, even though it was supposed to be an insult. But I also was kind of wondering, like, is this a reference to Batboy, like from the Weekly World News? Because back in the day, I think apparently it's still quite a famous figure, Batboy. It was always in front of like the National Enquirer, where someone had discovered a Batboy in a cave, and it was a really poorly photoshopped video, picture of like this baby with like big eyes, and it was screaming, and they had elongated the ears to look like bat ears or something. Batboy.
Are you saying this is like a genuine news story?
This is of course the genuine news story of Batboy. It's like no, it's from like the National Enquirer, when it was like they were just made.
I've not heard of it either. I'm literally Googling right now Batboy to see what is. Oh my god, it's terrifying.
What do you put in Batboy, like meme or what?
No, it's from like it used to be a famous news story in the National Enquirer when that was, or I think the Weekly World News, which is one of those like, oh, my husband was abducted by aliens and now he wears boots on his head, like that kind of news story.
Oh, okay. Look, I've just typed it in. Yes. I have seen this.
Yeah. But
wow.
But because that would have been a thing in the cultural zeitgeist, because this is 95, Batboy hit in 92. I wonder if there was maybe they're trying to say like, yeah, this kid, not only is it a kid, he looks like Batboy. But
that's harsh.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Dick didn't realize like that later on. Bruce is like, they're making fun of you, right? Because of the thing in the Weekly World News. And he's like, although has there been? I'll have to look into this. Has there been a Batman versus Batboy comic? That seems like, I guess that's essentially Mad Bat, isn't
it? But he's a man. He's not a boy.
Yeah.
Well, in the scene, the evil punks have a captive, which is very 80s/90s, isn't it? Evil punks. Even though punks are generally not like, they wouldn't be into kidnapping women. But okay, whatever. But she does escape their grasp, and Dick hears her though and leaps into action. But my first question was, when he got out of the car, I don't know why I only thought of this when he got out the car. I think because he pulls a lever and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. He learned how to drive this very quickly. Because I wouldn't know how to. You don't drive this like a car. It's got levers.
How old is he meant to be?
Well, that's up for debate.
Does he have a driving license? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, he has a motorcycle. But it's... Right, even though he's in his mid to late 20s, we've established that the character seems to be 17.
Yeah, that's what we've narrowed it down to. But I guess, to be fair, Batman does show up to, give him a telling off in a minute. So maybe he's more like, you don't even have the license to drive this car, kid.
I don't think anyone has the license to drive this thing. How do you drive it? How's he figured it out in the space of 5 seconds?
As we saw earlier in the movie, when Batman just dropped into it, there's literally a big button that's just on, and that's
go
on, and you pull that lever back, and you're away. You're done.
That's how I've always imagined driving a train. Now, I'm sure if any train drivers are listening, I'm sure I'm wrong, so do let me know. But I always just think, like, what do you do? Just press go and then stop? Like, I don't really get it.
Yeah. The tubes have those levers, don't they, for faster and slower?
I just push it all the way to go faster. It's like, we're getting near the next stop. Okay, I'll pull it back. There we go.
Like the old,
yeah.
The old days used to be the whole business of like, I'll put more coal in it to make it go faster and stuff. But I think they had a whole breakdown of it in. I know it's different, but the Titanic Minute, when they talked a lot about like how they had like experts in to talk about like the amount of coal that would be needed to get this ship to move at this speed, and why there's all conspiracy theories about why the Titanic didn't really sink the way you thought. The way they tell you it sank, because it's like, no, the amount of coal you would need to hit the iceberg at that speed was not capable, and all this, that's all in Titanic Minute. If people want to go over and listen to that,
do as well. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? After this, go and listen to it. But
would be remiss if we didn't say though. Of course, the song that we stop hearing now. It only featured very, very quickly. But this is Brandy with Where Are You Now? And there's anyone here a Brandy fan? Because I just know Brandy as Moesha. I still know what you did last summer. And apparently now this movie. I had no idea that she was like that the song was her.
No,
I like Brandy. I mean, I wasn't like super into Brandy, but I think she is good. It's an interesting song. It's very funky. Had a little listen. It's like not so Batman. It wasn't what I was expecting from a Batman song.
Well, that's the thing. This actually, I suppose, Beth, you wouldn't be familiar with the soundtrack to this movie because this is they have one of those, they released one of those, music inspired by Batman Forever kind of albums that go along with this. And it had, famously, Kiss from a Rose by Seal is from this movie. U2's Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. And then you had like Nick Cave's on that album, Mazzy Star's on that album, The Flaming Lips, like all like we call them Massive Attack are on there. It's one of those things. Like I think we'll end up doing like probably a special episode just all about that soundtrack at some point because it's like there's a lot to talk about there. But Brandy was brought in, and weirdly enough, and actually in an everything's connected way. The song was not written by Brandy because she was like, I think she was probably like 16 or something at the time. Although there's plenty of 16-year-old pop stars.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Billie Eilish, she writes loads of stuff.
Yeah. But this was actually written by Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, whoa.
Who, of course, his daughter, Zoe Kravitz, is now playing Catwoman in the next Batman movie. And I'm not too sure exactly whereabouts in Scotland you are, Beth, but they are currently shooting that movie in Glasgow. So you could be quite close to Zoe Kravitz.
I'm in London right now, so I'm not close at all.
The complete opposite.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, because Zoe Kravitz recently starred in the TV remake of High Fidelity, famous Nick Hornby book, then adapted into a very great movie with John Cusack. She plays John Cusack in it, essentially. And I've been on record before when Zoe Kravitz is cast, because I've never found her to be a charismatic presence in films. I've always forgotten she's in stuff that I've seen her in. Having watched her in High Fidelity, she was really, really good in it. And I also saw her when she was out promoting it. She was doing loads of great interviews where she came across as a real, a very charismatic presence, basically. And so now, even though playing John Cusack in High Fidelity does not translate into I'm going to be able to play Catwoman, I now have a lot more confidence in her as a performer. So I'm like, oh yes, now I'm on board 100% with the Zoe Kravitz.
Because I remember you were not keen at first, were you? You said you don't hate her, but you also are not a fan.
I just thought she was very milquetoast, sort of kind of choice. But now I'm thinking no, because everyone else in the cast is that good. It's no, they know what they're doing. And plus then, because she also went from she had really, really long, intense dreads, and she's dedicated her time to cut the hair. Her hair is now cropped in a kind of classic Selena Kyle comic book kind of look. Ooh. And so if she's got the dedication to go in and actually chop off all the locks to have this very severe haircut for this part, I'm I admire her dedication, and I look forward to seeing what she provides. So
yeah, I'm excited, and I'm impressed that her father sort of contributed to this movie in a way.
Yeah, and of course, Lenny Kravitz will go on to be the future boyfriend, briefly, of Nicole Kidman. So there you go. But this song, Where Are You Now? Because for the most part, the songs in Batman Forever lyrically have tied in. When you had the Flamin' Lips song that was literally talking about what Edward Nygma was going through and stuff. This one's a little more abstract, but I think it kind of works because, Where Are You Now is essentially, it's about a woman talking about her cheating boyfriend, basically. But, in the way they phrase it throughout the song, it's more about a woman's expectations been let down, and the man she thought she knew has seemingly turned into someone else, which when these ladies are come across, they think it's Batman, but it's actually Robin and stuff. It's I guess that kind of works, because you have lines you just came into my world, a little boy without a girl, little boy, it's Batboy. Where is the man I've come to know with the heart I thought was gold? Guess where's Batman? We thought Batman was going to be here. Are you in a better place or behind another face? Which is very in the Batman hiding behind faces and blah, 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 blah. This is really me giving them the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, that's why that's there. But I'm more than likely thinking Lenny Kravitz just wrote the song for Brandy, and they're like, we'll put that in the movie because we can put that on the soundtrack.
Probably, yeah. I mean, with your take on it, if he could hear the music, like as the character, if you live in that comic book world and the music is just automatically there, it would be really disheartening to have that music constantly behind you, being like, oh no, everyone just thinks I'm Batboy. I'm so sad. They just want Batman. It would be so sad to have that going on behind you constantly.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, he tries to take on the Batboy moniker himself later in the movie, so maybe he's like, no, I'm owning it. I'm taking it. I'm turning the negative into a positive. This whole thing as well, though, is like, oh yeah, Robin, like the uniform that my now dead family used to wear is my superhero costume. I guess he is all about turning the negative into a positive with this guy.
Why not? Why not? Take that pain and utilize it.
So I really liked their lightsaber-y type things that they had at the end. Do you like those? I thought they were super interesting. The reason that they just caught my eye is they really reminded me of when you get a fake lightsaber that the children have when you play with, like, pretend to be in Star Wars.
Oh, yes, so children have them, yes.
Yes. I think it's the whole, like, the idea of the mini golf, and it made me feel like you go to, like, a fun fair afterwards, and then there's some kind of evil punks there, but actually they're super cool and fluorescent, and you kind of just want to, like, get their face paints, and you want to do face paints as well, and then you get the lightsabers,
Hell yeah.
and you get to, like, have a little fake fight. It felt like that for my 1 minute.
Oh, I would love that. See, I was watching it thinking this would make the coolest nightclub in the world. So it's kind of a similar vibe, but not children related.
I just imagine now, like, Beth wandering into this really dodgy, like, black light area of the city, coming across this gang, and then, like, just popping out some Dayglow makeup. Woo! Like, okay, yeah, I'm getting involved. I'm with you guys.
Woohoo! This is fun.
All of the coolest things happen in the city, down alleyways with mysterious gangs.
No, that's true. That's 100% true. And you can quote John Parker on that.
Yeah. You can't go wrong. Seek them out, people. Seek them out.
You're going to get people into a lot of trouble. Especially if they live in London.
Oh, God.
But I hadn't made the lightsaber connection, Beth, myself. But like now seeing it, like, you have to wonder if George Lucas was sitting in the cinema in 95 going, ooh, double-sided lightsaber,
yeah.
I think I know what I'm putting in my script tomorrow, clackety-clack.
We've uncovered the truth. Lucas just ripped this movie off.
So many people ripped this movie off. We discovered throughout the entire run of the season.
Well, the gang's clothes as well. I love, like, their whole look, because we talk about the makeup and whatnot, but people don't often go on about the general look of them. I think these clothes are amazing. I like the way the paint on them, it's a little messy, a little smudgy, because it makes them more beautiful and more real. This looks like something someone has actually sat and painted.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect.
They've got a real sort of, like a kind of, like a, I'm wondering if they're supposed to be kind of like a Day of the Dead themed gang or something.
They must be, right? They're skulls and stuff.
Yeah.
There's the skulls, and then there's the guys with the little hearts and stuff he's got embroidered on his jacket. It's very Day of the Dead. There's a guy, one of his henchmen has looks like a matador's outfit on.
Yeah.
Well,
because it's like a guy with like tribal tattoo things going on as well. So there's a whole lot of different vibes.
Gotham is a very multicultural city. I'll go. A testament to Joel Schumacher, far more multicultural than Tim Burton.
Yes. Well, Niall, if you go to second 38 in the minute, it's a specific shot of this main goon. And, you know, he's got those hearts that you said. It's got a kind of Hispanic vibe, or maybe even like a Sacred Heart kind of vibe. Just below, on our left, the heart, is that a saint? Or is that just a random smudge?
Yeah, that's true. It looks like a genuinely, it's like a religious picture. Like it's,
or is it a card? It could be like a tarot card.
Oh, it could be actually, yeah. I can confirm it is not from the Rider-Waite tarot deck, but there are other decks.
If it was a religious thing, though, it'd be crazy if like they dragged this girl off to the alleyway and then he was just like, "Have you heard the good news?" and just pulled out a Bible, and she's like, "Oh God, no!"
all these
It's
violent,
worse than I thought.
these violent back alley baptisms that are going on.
This is actually like Ash Wednesday in Gotham. They don't usually have this makeup on.
No.
But it's just like a really extreme Ash Wednesday.
We just caught them on a bad day or a good day, depending.
No, I was just gonna say, because we do get like a lot of like weird scenery here. One thing is like at one point when Dick's running into the little alleyway that the guys have taken her to, there's a giant sign that says Otto. And it's also got like all these kind of whirring cogs and whatnot. I've traveled about and stuff, and obviously Beth, you're from Scotland. John, you've been around and whatnot. I've never. Is this an American thing to have these moving signs? Because you always see them in The Simpsons, where it's like, yeah, they have a sign that the whole arm moves up and down and stuff. And it's like,
I've
never seen one. Yeah, I've never seen that in real life. It just seems like such a film thing to be like, yeah, we just have the sign moves to draw your eye to it even more.
Yeah, I've never seen that. We don't get those in Scotland.
No,
I'd like to see that, but in all my travels all over the place, never.
Maybe in Camden, actually. You know what? Like, because it's like a big, it's like a big cog in a watch, isn't it? Camden has sort of things like that, to be fair, now I'm thinking about it. So, yeah, if you want to see one, I can't 100% guarantee that you will see a moving sign, but there is a small chance you might.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, it just seems like such a like, I think I would love to see them, because I like the idea of like, yeah, it's a big, weird, moving sign. I think maybe now I'm just like, it's just an aching in my soul, because I've not seen them in real life, and I want them to be everywhere.
Well, that's our business we can start, Niall, on the side.
Yeah, but I will say also, down to the side, on the bottom left of that automat, giant cogged building, there's a statue, just looks like it's doing a facepalm. Yeah. And I don't know if it's there to be like, this kid, you know? It's just like, this asshole kid out in a Batmobile. What the hell's going on?
Well, I think you're right, because the next thing that happens is that guy with the insanely deep voice says, "Who the hell are you?" And he says, "I'm Batman." And they all laugh at him, because of course he's not Batman. But that guy actually, because, Beth, you brought him up earlier. He sounds like Batman, as in his voice is deep and deep and deep. But, he's got to be overdubbed, right? That's not him doing that. Or he's at least not doing it in the moment. That's ADR'd or something. Yeah,
there's definitely some sort of modulation put on the voice there. It does sound a little too... It sounds a little too clean and clear. Yeah. Despite also being really gruff and stuff, so...
Yeah, and he looks like the kind of person who wouldn't have such a deep voice. I know it doesn't always work like that, but I can't picture that coming out of his mouth.
You just wish they had the overdubbing of Eckhart from the 89 movie.
Yes.
He just comes around and he's like, "Oh, I'm Batman." And he's like, "Drinking Drano." This is the most bizarre. Like, why was he ADR'd? Why did they ADR Eckhart? Although now I'm really fascinated. The only reason I want to see this Robert Downey Jr. Doolittle movie is because in the review by Mark Commode, he says like, "Oh, the Welsh accent," and I can't find any clips of it online where the accent's featured, so it must be like even the studio knows it's bad. But he said like, yeah, the Welsh accent he's doing in it is so terrible.
Oh God! And
from the research, he's saying like, if you're looking at him, it all looks overdubbed as well. So what that potentially means is that Robert Downey Jr. did that in a different accent originally, and then they decided to change it to Welsh, or that he did it in a Welsh accent the whole time, and it was even worse originally, and then they had to get him to come in and try to fix it in post, and apparently it's still absolutely abhorrent.
That's the thing. Why cast him if you're making him Welsh? Mm-hmm. He can't do it.
I think maybe they're just like, oh, he did Sherlock Holmes. And maybe they assumed he would do it in an English accent.
Yeah, but he didn't do Sherlock Holmes particularly well. It's okay.
Yeah. They're very like beloved movies now, those Sherlock movies, for some reason.
I'm not saying the movies are bad. It's just his voice isn't amazing, is it? Like, it's an American. It's Robert Downey Jr. I think I would know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but now because I think it's already seeming like that guy. He's within 5 years. He's gonna be back at Marvel doing something. Like he'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
Tony Stark is the voice of the AI now or something. Because it's like outside of those Marvel movies, the guy can't catch a break. Like he had the comeback with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Amazing.
Then he went into Iron Man, and everything he's done outside Iron Man has been terrible for the last decade or so.
I'm trying to even remember anything.
There's Due Date.
Uh,
But anyway, this isn't Robert Downey Jr. minute. So, let's get back to the Bat here,
yeah.
or the not Bat, the Robin.
But
He's
he
not
is
even Robin
Batman.
yet.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the Dick.
Let me just clarify one thing, not dick related. Well, it is dick related, kind of. Beth, he is not yet Robin. He will be Robin, but he's only just he's only just discovered that Bruce is Batman, pretty much, and then stolen his car.
Yeah, at this point, his parents have died. Bruce Wayne has adopted this 42-year-old man and threw him just dicking around the house. Because then Bruce Wayne took him in and then completely ignored him.
Yeah.
So Dick Grayson was just kind of hanging about Wayne Manor until he discovered that Bruce Wayne was Batman and then instantly stole the Batmobile. So
How did he manage to steal it from Batman?
He just took it. There's literally no build.
again, there is literally a scene where Batman is on a rooftop, jumps down into the open Batmobile, and to get it to go, he just presses a button. Like there is no safety. Even though in the last movie, people stole the Batmobile and like tore up the city with it.
Yeah, shouldn't it be like
he's not the most
locked
considerate of men. But...
biometrically or something? Like, so he has to scan his eyeball. Or...
Yeah, you think so, but
well, and
it's the 90s. They didn't have that then, you know?
No, but he's Batman. He's got future tech.
he has a smartwatch. Beth, you missed in the previous minute. He has a little Skype. He has Skype smartwatch on.
Oh,
but
cool.
15, 20 years before those were even conceived. But, well, I'd say conceived. I'm sure like sci-fi people have been putting them in stuff friggin' for years. But
I always wanted one because in Total Recall they've got computers on their arms and it's clearly just a Casio calculator sellotaped to their arm. But it's amazing. And then I ended up getting a smartwatch and it was one of the best things I ever bought and then it broke.
no.
But it was just amazing. Like you're doing poached eggs, and you can just speak aloud to your wrist and tell it to set an alarm.
I do remember you having that watch, but I was always surprised I didn't see more of it. So I was like, oh, so
I
it's
had
broke.
it
I
for
didn't
like
realize.
2 years.
2 years? I think I saw it like once.
What? No, I had it on all the time. I'm usually adorned dripping in jewelry. So yeah.
I thought you bought it and then took a shower and forgot to take it off, and then that was it. So next day it's gone.
I found a smartwatch on the train recently, and you can't one, it's like locked, so I can't get into it. But also, there's no way to it's not like an iPhone where it's got Find My iPhone, and so you can't really get it back to the person. So I just have a locked watch now in my house.
There's ways of unlocking it.
Oh.
Okay, we can maybe help you out.
God knows what sort of international secrets and espionage could be instilled in that watch, Beth.
It could be a spies. This is great.
Yeah.
Or it
Could
could
say
be...
that this podcast comes out now, all of a sudden you get like weird guys in trench coats with fedoras showing up at your front door asking,
Give us the watch.
"Are you Miss Roars?"
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's the Skull Man.
he's coming for his watch.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, because tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, so he would have on the makeup, actually.
Oh, even scarier. It'd be like the League of Gentlemen with Papa Lazarou coming to your door. Hello, Dave.
But yeah, I remember briefly, Beth, you mentioned, of course, the staffs these guys are using. I can't help but feel this must be a deliberate reference to Tim Drake, who was the third Robin, and his weapon of choice is a staff. He has a little battle staff thing. First appeared in Batman 457 in December 1990. So it was a thing back then,
quite
and
current.
so it's mostly really associated with Robin. It's like, yeah, Robin has a staff that he uses to fight. So we have a fight scene, the first fight scene with Robin. These battling guys who have glow stick staffs. So if it is a reference, it's a subtle one. But, again, I could be giving Joel Schumacher too much of the benefit of the doubt. But you never know. You never know.
No, I think it seems sensible. Because it's relatively contemporary to the time. It'd still be fresh in people's minds, this, the use of the staff in comics.
But then we just sort of get into all-out brawl with Dick Grayson and this Dayglow blacklight van.
Yeah, because they just so happen to be kung fu masters as usual.
Yes.
And the amount of times that's happened to me, I get in a fight and it's a kung fu master.
But I think I'm pretty much noted out for this minute. Have you guys, if there's anything else in particular did you want to bring up? Or
I just want to say that, I know it gets mocked, but I genuinely love the visuals. I have no problem with them at all. Zero issues. It's different. It's unique. It's of the time. Fits the tone of the movie.
I think in, most things, in Batman and Robin, because I think it's supposed to be the same gang show up.
I think so, yeah.
It's a different guy playing the leader, but it's they're all neon street gang, so I guess it's the same people. In that, it's way too much. And this, people do rip into this. And I think, this is actually totally fine to me. It's a very distinctive look, and it's just you get crazy crap like that in Batman. It's just,
Yeah. And it felt like a cool interpretation of comic book coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Although, do they always have to be in a UV room to fight?
Yeah, they won't fight. It's no, come with us back to our lair, then we'll have a brawl. Yeah.
They also have to wait until it's nighttime. It's the day. It doesn't look anywhere near as good.
In the daytime, people just mock them and make fun of them all the time, and then at night, then they rule.
Yeah.
Imagine if their faces they just look totally normal in the daytime. You wouldn't even know.
Oh.
The only reason they've actually become a criminal gang is because by day they look like normal people, but they also fell into a vat of chemicals that only at night does their skin turn into Dayglow skull colors.
Yes.
So it's we have no other choice but to become the random blacklight gang.
Yeah. They were bullied. They were probably bullied at school for being so colourful at night, and then, they had to make that choice.
I'm willing to bet, too, that at least one of these guys is wearing global hypercolor.
Oh, yes.
Within that group. It's going to get at the end of the fight when they're really sweaty, it's going to become very apparent that they're all adorned in the most 90s of clothing, global hypercolor.
I had that problem with global hypercolor, but... I was a kid, so kids aren't quite as sweaty. When you're an adult, you got more hair, you get sweatier. But I lived in Cyprus, very, very hot. So to even make the shirt work, I had to put it in the fridge, right? So then I'd go out and get sweaty. Anyway, it was a mess.
No. Did you ever own any global hypercolor, Beth? Or?
I did not.
Oh, tragic. Did you ever own any blacklight posters?
No, I didn't get any of these things.
It's one of these things that there's no color in Scotland. It's just
it's grey. It's grey and sad.
It's grey in the color of rain. That's all they have up there.
Having visited recently to go to Edinburgh, yes, I will confirm. Just grey. Everything was black and white, even.
Yes.
Beth saw this clip and then had a seizure. It was just too much.
Too much, yeah.
But now I demand our new T-shirts are on global hypercolor.
Hey, if we can pull it off, John, by all means.
I will genuinely look into that. I can't promise anything, listeners, but I'll have a look.
There'll be one T-shirt company will offer it, and they're like, really? They're the first people to ask for that since 1998. Now, though, Beth, because at this point, we'd usually ask about the guest's history with the movie and stuff, but I'm guessing...
There's none. There's literally none.
What is your history with Batman in general, though? Have you seen a lot of the other movies, or any real familiarity with his cinematic legacy?
I mean, more recent ones, but any ones like this and pre this, I've never watched the whole way through. So there we go. So I have like quite a different view of what Batman is because it's so different. This minute is very different than anything really after.
So can you claim still that all you've ever seen of Batman Returns is that 1 minute of the end credits?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Now I feel like you shouldn't watch the movie because then who else will have that boast in their life that I've only seen 1 solid minute of the end credits?
Yes.
I talked a lot about the I don't know the Best Boy and the Carpenters and stuff, but not even Carpenters the band, just like the Carpenter on the movie.
Just the Carpenter, yeah.
Is this a Monday episode?
This is a Monday episode, indeed.
Well, what do we do with the riddle though? Because we're gonna have different guests.
We have the next 2 minutes have the same guests though, so I think we'll save it on the Wednesday for them.
Oh, so it's a Wednesday riddle.
Wednesday, throwing you a curveball.
No.
John.
But I will do my customary tossing of the coin.
Well, I do have to ask though, Beth, before you go now.
Oh yeah.
Would you be interested in watching the rest of Batman Forever after
yeah,
this?
You know what? I would. It's very intriguing. So I want to know more. I want to know what's going on with Robin and why. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah. And would you be? I mean, I know I told you that the "Kiss from a Rose" was the spin-off single for this movie.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited because it's not until the end credits.
Yeah, never in the film.
But then that because you're a vocal coach, and that's how I know you from the Beth Roars YouTube channel. Do you have any takes on Seal's vocals or the vocals of Brandy in the song featured here, or is it just like, oh no, you need to have everything laid out in front of you and to get into deep analysis mode for that?
Probably more of that, but yeah, I mean, I like both of their vocals. I really like Seal, actually. I just think he's got loads of soul, hasn't he? You just know. Whereas like Brandy's really like kind of clean. I feel like I feel like she's a lot more commercial in some ways. But she's so 90s. Everything she does is so 90s. All those runs and everything are just, yeah. Which I loved. And also it was that sort of like 90s R&B style was something that I used to secretly love, but people in Scotland thought was really uncool. So, but I used to love that. A bit of Destiny's Child and all those sorts of things when I was younger. And people would be like, no, you must listen to metal. And I was like, oh.
Maybe go up as soon as you walk into Scotland, they grab you by the neck and go, "Now, get some Iron Maiden down your throat." But I mean, if you are at all intrigued, you're more than welcome back next season to talk about. You can watch a single minute of Batman and Robin, which is widely considered to be one of the worst films ever made. So I guess you'd be dodging a bullet in many respects. They won't have to watch the 1 minute. But...
Oh no, it's a wonderful mess. And now, yes, I will do my customary tossing of the coin, which I will have to explain to Beth. Basically, Two-Face tosses a coin to make decisions. So I'm going to toss a coin. His decisions are usually about life or death. So if you get this right, you get to live.
Oh, gosh.
So heads or tails for survival?
Heads.
Heads, okay. Everyone picks heads. That's strange. It's quite
because
common.
you want to keep your head.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it. Let's see. Oh, heads, you survive.
Yes.
I don't cheat this either. So you have honestly survived.
Fantastic. I was really scared that guy was actually genuinely going to turn up at my door.
That's how we were going to do it. I was going to send him round. Oh, jeez.
I mean, there's no guarantees he won't come looking for that locked watch now, though. So
yeah. But I'll be like, you have a fantastic bass voice. Come over here. We'll play the piano and have a little sing-song. All will be well.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, we will head off into the dark, dark night now. We will let Beth run along, just in case she is being hunted by the evil Skull Watch fellow. I don't know what to call him. Chap. So would you like to tell people where they can find you and your work online, on YouTube and whatnot?
If you just search Beth Roars, I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast called Good Job with Beth Roars. Yeah, just Google it. I'm there.
Hey. Do that, everybody, and talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not giving you them. I give you them like every episode. Just look us up. Bat Minute. We're on there. But come to Patreon. That's helpful. If you give us just $2, you get extra content. You get extra episodes about weird things like the movie Rockula. Mm-hmm. And who doesn't want to hear about that? I mean, the title alone. If you're not intrigued, I don't want you as a listener. You can go away right now. Rockula. Amazing. So come and do that, and we will see you again on Wednesday for more Bat Minute Forever.
Next time, dashing do-goodery and dazzling damsels, with an army of arses needing beat on the neon-drenched streets, our ebullient bird boy wets his beak. But while the gang are on the ropes due to this daredevil dope, who will provide a peck due to an old movie trope? Find out Wednesday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da.